What if your deepest desire was actually the world whispering back to you? And what if the life you're meant to live is the one you keep ignoring? Hi, I'm Peter, and welcome back to Books for Thoughts, where we explore powerful ideas from life-changing books. In just 10 minutes, today's book is a modern myth, a parable about dreams, fear, courage, and destiny. It's been translated into over 80 languages and changed how millions of people view the path they're walking. This is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, a mystical story about a shepherd boy who sets off to find treasure and discovers something far more valuable. The story begins with Santiago, a young shepherd who sleeps under the stars and reads omens in the wind. He lives a simple life, but something inside him is restless. One night he dreams of a child who tells him to seek treasure at the foot of the Egyptian pyramids. He wakes with a question burning in him. Could this dream mean something? Not metaphorically, literally. And so he sets off, not just across countries, but into himself. What unfolds is part fairy tale, part spiritual guidebook. It's not really about treasure. It's about what it means to follow your calling, even when the path is unclear and the world tries to talk you out of it. One of the most powerful ideas in The Alchemist is what Coelho calls your personal legend. It's the thing your soul was made to do, the life that only you can live, the dream that keeps returning, no matter how long you try to ignore it. The King of Salem, a mysterious guide Santiago meets early on, tells him, when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. It sounds magical, and it is, but it also comes with a price. Because chasing your personal legend means letting go of certainty. It means saying yes to risk, yes to failure, yes to the unknown. It means walking away from comfort into something that might not make sense to anyone but you. As Santiago journeys across desert towns and open markets, he meets people who gave up on their dreams long ago. A baker who once wanted to travel but stayed. A crystal merchant who fears change, even though it could lead to everything he once wanted. These characters are mirrors, not of villains, but of what happens when fear wins. The truth Coelho keeps coming back to is this. Most people don't fail because they lacked opportunity. They fail because they never really began. Because fear is quiet. It doesn't shout. It whispers. Not now. Too risky. What if you lose everything? But Santiago keeps going. Not because he's fearless, but because he trusts the signs, the omens, the nudges, the feeling in his chest that says, there's more than this. As Santiago continues his journey, he begins to notice something strange. Everything is connected. He meets a camel driver who speaks of listening to the desert, a tribal chief who dreams of war, an Englishman who searches for alchemy in ancient texts. And slowly, Santiago begins to hear what Coelho calls the language of the world, a way of understanding life without words. It's in symbols, dreams, instinct, coincidence. And it teaches this truth. The world is not against you. It's waiting for you, but only if you're paying attention. Eventually, Santiago enters the desert. Not just a landscape, but a spiritual space. It's quiet, endless, unforgiving. And in its silence, he begins to hear his own heart more clearly. But the heart, Coelho reminds us, doesn't always speak kindly. Sometimes it's afraid. Sometimes it tries to protect us from pain by warning us not to try at all. Santiago learns that part of following your personal legend is listening to your heart, even when it trembles, even when it contradicts itself, even when it whispers, turn back. Because a meaningful life isn't a life without fear. It's a life where fear doesn't get the final say. Deep in the desert, Santiago meets the alchemist. He's not what you'd expect. Not a wise old wizard with flowing robes, but a man who speaks simply with clarity and fire. The alchemist teaches Santiago that true alchemy isn't about turning lead into gold. It's about transformation, the kind that happens within. He says, listen to your heart. It knows all things because it came from the soul of the world. He pushes Santiago, tests him, forces him to risk everything, even his own life. to prove that faith is stronger than fear. The message is clear. Your treasure won't be handed to you. You have to become someone who's ready to receive it after all the miles, the danger, the omens, the searching. Santiago finally reaches the Egyptian pyramids. He begins to dig. The wind howls, the stars shine down, and then he's robbed, beaten, stripped, left in the sand. But in a cruel twist, his attackers unknowingly reveal the truth. The treasure was back where he started all along, buried near a tree in the ruined church where he first had the dream. At first, this feels like a betrayal, a cruel joke, but it's not, because Santiago had to go on the journey to become the person who could see it. The real treasure wasn't gold. It was growth, awakening, faith, and the quiet, humbling joy of coming home with new eyes. The final message of the alchemist isn't that your dream is far away. It's that your dream is calling, and everything you experience along the way, even the detours, the pain, the silence, is part of the process of becoming. Coelho writes, to realize one's destiny is a person's only obligation. And he means it, because a dream isn't selfish, it's sacred. The world needs people who are awake to what they're here to do. And when we ignore that voice, that calling, we don't just betray ourselves, we rob the world of the very thing only we can give. The Alchemist isn't just a novel, it's a mirror. It asks you gently but firmly, are you following your personal legend or settling for a version of life that someone else imagined for you? It reminds us that the universe is alive with signs, but we must choose to see them, and that the courage to begin is the rarest kind of gold. If this story stirred something in you, I encourage you to pick up The Alchemist and let it walk beside you, wherever you are on your journey. And if you enjoy poetic, soul-searching stories that speak to the part of you that still believes in wonder, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Books for Thoughts, where we share 10-minute breakdowns for the path you're already on, even if you haven't seen it yet. Until next time, stay open, stay brave, and remember, your heart already knows the way. Follow it.